Okay, so today is an exciting day for me. I have right here in this little box the Sennheiser MKH416 microphone. And yes, it's a real Sennheiser microphone. So yes, there will be some sound tests. However, the purpose of this video is to help you avoid buying a fake. And yes, there are fakes out there, lots of them. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I kind of got lucky in a sense and found out that there were fakes before I actually made a purchase. And so I'm gonna walk you through some really easy things to check to make sure that you're not getting a fake Sennheiser, especially the MKH416, which I happen to have here. I don't have a fake, but I do have a genuine one. I'm gonna kind of give you my journey on how I did some checking beforehand, and then once I got it, how I even tried to check further. So there's gonna be three things we're gonna talk about. One is, use your common sense. If you see a $1,000 microphone for $500, that's probably not a good sign. However, there are microphones out there that are fakes that sellers will sell for close to the asking price, but just a hair under. That's what you gotta be careful of. How are you gonna know? Second point, physical characteristics. I'm gonna show you some of the things that I know are correct on a genuine Sennheiser, and then based on what I've looked at on the internet, some of the things that might indicate you have a fake. Third thing is the sound quality. So that's where the sound tests are gonna come in. At the end, I'll have just a couple just quick sound tests against my kind of standard go-to up to this point, which is the Audio-Technica AT875R. They're all in a Tascam field recorder. Why don't we just go ahead and jump right into it? So first of all, common sense, buy from an authorized reseller. Sennheiser has a list of those on their website. Some Sennheiser boxes will have a QR code, like the retail boxes, and you can check the authenticity. However, I got this guy, which does not have a QR code. I'm not showing this side because it's got my serial number, but on the Chinese/fake knockoffs, this model number, MKH416 P48, sometimes it'll be 3U, okay? That's a tip off. It should be U3, at least for this model of microphone. If it says a 3U, you probably have a fake. Second thing is the serial number on the box should match the serial number on the microphone. And I'm gonna show you where to check that on the microphone itself. And then you can call Sennheiser. That's a whole nother story, by the way, which I will get into. You need to call Sennheiser with that serial number if you're really still concerned, and they will tell you, kind of give you some history on the microphone, who it was sold to, and hopefully, and when, and that kind of thing. So why don't we open this up, and I'm gonna show you a few things. One of the things is on the fake Sennheiser boxes, which by the way, look quite real. This blue paint right here may actually have little fingerprints or may not be perfect. So inspect it closely. If it looks at all amateurish, actually, why does mine look amateurish? No, just kidding. If it looks at all amateurish or there's anything that's off, that could be an indication. Let's just open up this mic and get into it. Now, this is not a telltale for sure, but I can tell you that they might have fake paperwork or like real paperwork that doesn't actually go with the fake mic, obviously. It's real Sennheiser booklets. They may even figure out how to print out these guys here, these test charts, if you will. But, so don't use that as an indication. Just even if that all looks real, it could be a problem. So the first thing we're gonna do, it should look like this. I've seen on the fakes, this foam doesn't look quite the same. This is kind of an open-celled foam. Some of the fake ones, it's just different. In any case, I will say one thing that the fake and the real have in common is that this thing right here is a real, you know what to get on. It looks like you're doing something quite nasty when you're trying to put it on. But this is a real one and it still has that problem, so. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna talk about is this little tip right here that looks like a tip. It's got like a line, but it's actually, I believe it's one piece. But on the fakes, now you can really use your muscle on that, at the end of that. Try to move that, try to move it. If it at all moves or comes off or unscrews, you almost should surely have a fake, okay? Now, the fakes have actually quite good engraving and embossing, even the made in Germany, some of them have that, so you can't use that, unfortunately. If you look inside the tube here, now I'm not gonna show you mine close up because it's the serial numbers in there and I don't wanna I don't know why I don't want to give out the serial number. I just feel like that's my serial number. It's not your serial number. If you look in here, I'm going to tell you what I see. So I see the serial number, and I also see a really nice circlip, which is sort of like looks like a washer with two little holes that that's what holds the XLR connector in the sleeve. And it has a little trash can with an X through it. But the serial number is important. That serial number matches what's on my box. Okay, so that's a big thing. The Chinese ones, I don't think go to the length of doing that. They might, but the ones I have seen online do not. Also, the pins are silver. Now this is a 2000, presumably, this is 2017. I don't know if it's a 2017 mic or not. Presumably the pins could be brass colored in the fake, and that could be a tip off. The next thing, and this is, I didn't do it on camera, but I'm gonna tell you, you need to get a very precise flathead, very specific size screwdriver. And by the way, I'm gonna put a link to the tools that I use that also happen to be German. It's a company called Weha. I've got this little precision set. It is the best little precision set. It's got stuff for like this and MacBook Pros, Pentalobe, all that stuff, and it's quite affordable, and the tips are just perfect. So I got just the right tip here. I unscrewed this screw, and this whole sleeve just comes right off. And on the end of what's left, basically the guts of the microphone, the capsule, I believe is what it's called, it has a label that says Sennheiser with a serial number. Now that serial number is not the same as what's on the bottom here, because that's the serial number for the capsule, I guess. But they went to the trouble of doing that. And you can tell the circuitry is quite a bit cleaner. Some of the fake ones just are a mess. They just look amateurish, whereas this looks really clean. Now, that kind of covers all, oh, one last thing. This little screw right here, this little set screw that holds the sleeve on the fakes, a lot of times it's brass. Or I should say, it's not black. Now, some of the older Sennheisers, the genuine ones, they might be different colors. They might have a Phillips head, maybe, I don't know. They might actually be reverse threaded potentially. This one is a normal thread, and it is a flathead, and it's black. So that's all I can say about that. And then the last thing is going to be the sound quality. So that's the next thing we're gonna check. But before I do that, I just wanna tell you, so what I did is I bought this from an online reseller that was authorized by Sennheiser. But when I called Sennheiser, because I just wanted to see if I could get more information about this microphone. And I gave them the serial number. They said, yep, that's genuine. And I said, okay, well, how could I tell, like physically, how could I, tell if it was a fake? And they sent me over to another kind of tech support department. And the guy that I got, by the way, Sennheiser, my experience, my one phone call to them, talking to two people, is they think a lot of themselves. The guy was not super helpful, I'll just put it that way. I'll be really nice about it. I asked him how could I tell, and he said, well, call the reseller. And I said, but that's kind of the whole point of me calling you, is maybe I don't trust the reseller. Maybe the reseller didn't know themselves. That could be, right? And he goes, well, the only real way to know is you have to send it in to us. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I said, well, what about the packaging? I have brown plain packaging, and on your website you say that there's this QR code. And he goes, well, there's all kinds of packaging. There's brown packaging, there's white packaging, there's blue. The guy was just trying not to be helpful, in my opinion. So all I can tell you is, God help me if I have to deal with Sennheiser on like warranty or something. They sound like they could be a pain, but maybe not. I'm hoping that this thing just holds up. So the thing you've all been waiting for. Let's go ahead and put this bad boy. In fact, by the way, so you've been listening to the AT875R from Audio-Technica, about $150. This beautiful Sennheiser MKH416 is about $1,000. Sometimes you can get it in a bundle with other stuff for a little less, like total, but about $1,000. I don't know, there's all kinds of like legends around it. Supposedly every movie and TV show you watch, this mic's been used. Maybe, I don't know. That's what you hear, but who knows, right? Apparently it's good for, it was intended for, movies and television, and as a typical shotgun mic would be used on a boom pole and that kind of thing. But apparently there are some guys, like one of my favorites, Mike Delgadio over at Booth Junkie, who loves this thing as a voiceover mic. Not designed for that, but guess what? That's why I got this thing. It should be so versatile. I've done a couple sound checks, by the way, before this, and I like the sound of it. Now, I'm not I haven't done super critical listening, but I like it. I don't know if it's worth $1,000 though, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta treat yourself. So let's go take a listen to some of these tests. Okay, now you're listening to the Sennheiser, as the Germans say it, the Sennheiser MKH416. So you know what I'm gonna do? Should have read this with the old mic, but that's okay. You're listening to it, everything is exactly the same. I didn't even stop recording, pulled it out, plugged in the new one. That's probably dangerous with phantom power, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna read to you just a paragraph from here. The frequency response intentionally has a slightly rising characteristic at high frequencies. The microphone has a low proximity effect and therefore provides a well-balanced sound even when used close to the sound source. So there you go. I will be doing a sound test. In fact, I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. Even Ricky doesn't know until he watches this video. And I pre-ordered a Sound Devices Mix Pre 3. So I plan on doing a test with this little Audio Technica, $150, the Sennheiser MKH416, which is $1,000, and then these recorders, which vary from like $250 on up to like $650. I want to do some noise floor comparisons just to kind of get a rough idea of how the mics and recorders work together and what their noise floors are by themselves and together and all that good stuff. And then just do some sound test raw and then maybe just apply compression and maybe nothing else. Just to kind of see what the difference is. Because let's face it, the dream is you hit record, you bring it into post, and maybe you drop a compressor on there and you're done. You don't have to, if I don't have to EQ anything, if I don't have to do a bunch of other effects, that would be awesome, because I'm all about, when I sit down to edit, like the last thing I want to do is go dink around with stuff in the audio. I want a mic that hopefully can get me much closer right out of the gate. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. We'll see what happens. So I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for subscribing, those of you who have. If you haven't, go ahead and click subscribe. It helps us a lot. Google and YouTube reward us for that. If you have questions or comments, put them down below in the comment section, that'd be great. And the best thing you can do to help us, it doesn't cost you anything, is to click the Amazon links. Puts a few extra pennies in our pocket. I hope to do another video on this, and until then, have a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, have a good one.